If anybody has been paying attention, and you haven't been playing politics, just paying attention, America is being torn apart. We're just being ripped apart at the seams. All of our most fundamental principles are being bludgeoned to death. And I say that with full confidence. Hillary Clinton said that the traditional marriage was a fundamental bedrock principle. Now she doesn't. That was like 8 years ago she said that. A fundamental bedrock principle. Well, I agree with her. And now it's gone. But I think our speech is going away quickly as well. You can say anything you want if you don't mind being hungry for the rest of your life. You can't support your family. If you love unemployment, speak your mind all you want, baby. The CEO of Firefox, fired because 6 years prior he had donated money to a cause in which he believed. Donald Trump this week, fired because he said something I don't agree with, but I don't want him fired for it. The people working at ESPN, right chink in the armor, fired. Freedom of speech? Nope. Fundamental bedrock principle, gone. Freedom of religion? Religious institutions, in some cases, have been forced against their doctrine to provide birth control, contraception, and even abortion. Have you heard the latest on Steve Green's place? Hobby Lobby? Hobby Lobby may have to close because the government is going after them again. And they just came out and said, we may not be able to stay open this time. Hobby Lobby. So don't tell me we have freedom of religion. People are being forced to provide services for ceremonies in which they conscientiously object. It's called a conscientious objector. We've always had that carve out in the Constitution. If your God tells you I can't do that, you don't do it, and no one can force you to do it. But now, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 2 ministers who operate a church threatened with arrest for not performing a gay wedding ceremony. Arrest! Jail time. The Supreme Court ruling that came out last week, is that going to help or hurt? Listen to what our first openly gay senator, Tammy Baldwin, said about religious liberty this week.
Certainly the First Amendment says that in institutions of faith that there is absolute power to, to observe deeply held religious beliefs. But I don't think it extends far beyond that.
Okay, it doesn't extend very far beyond that. Say whatever you like in your church. This is James Madison. Say yap all you want, God this, God that, whatever. But soon as you step out on the sidewalk, your ass is mine. I don't think so. By the way, so you know how that works, Tammy, if I may call you that. Tammy, a guy who has been in the service forever. A guy who is I was thinking of another religious case. This guy is a fire chief in Alabama or in Atlanta, a fire chief. He said something inside the walls of his church. He was fired from his job because he said at his church from the pulpit, I don't believe in gay marriage. He was fired. So tell me how that one works, Tammy. By the way, the First Amendment doesn't say anything about institutions of faith. What it does say is Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I'm exercising my faith right now by telling you what I believe. The right to keep and bear arms. Every single time some psycho senselessly takes an innocent life, they roll out the tired old argument that guns have no place in our society, despite what the Constitution says. The right to be secure in your home, papers, documents, unmolested by authorities, unless there is a probable cause to search or seize your property. 3 letters for you, NSA. Here's 3 more, IRS. Those are all gone, gang, or they're on the ropes. power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, reserved for the states. Yeah, right. No, that doesn't happen. There's no marriage. There's no straight marriage in the Constitution. That is a power reserved for the states, not the Constitution. It says it in the Constitution. So the 10th Amendment is gone. The only thing we have to not really worry about is probably the quartering of soldiers in our homes. Knock on wood. Well, no, don't knock on wood, because it might be a little confusing to some, because there might actually be a knock on your wooden door, and I don't know. It might be the 3rd Mechanized Infantry Division that is just wanting to stay for the night. Can we crash here? Our public schools and universities are turning out kids, and they're turning them into entitlement addicts. It doesn't begin at school, because even at our sporting events and other extracurricular activities that prepare them to expect everything without earning anything. Participation trophies, telling them that they're special for no apparent reason, heaping undue praise on them, even when, just maybe, constructive criticism would keep a few losers off of American Idol. We told you about UC Berkeley, where Janet Napolitano and her staff are banning certain phrases. These are not words. These are now ideas.